Welcome to our podcast, where we cover unique and interesting stories for you. In this episode, we will discuss how the moon may have turned itself inside out. A recent study has revealed a bizarre situation in which our moon had once completely turned itself inside out. A new paper was published by a team of scientists from the University of Arizona Lunar and Planetary Laboratory on the evolution of the lunar interior. In the paper, they emphasized the ancient lunar interior's instability. The paper, which was published in the journal Nature Geoscience, spoke in detail about how the moon had evolved in a chaotic manner. In a press statement, study co-author and LPL Associate Professor Jeff Andrews Hanna said, "Our moon literally turned itself inside out, but there has been little physical evidence to shed light on the exact sequence of events during this critical phase of lunar history, and there is a lot of disagreement in the details of what went down, literally." Scientists have estimated that the moon was formed roughly 4.5 billion years ago when a small planet smashed into Earth. Because of the impact, the molten rock spread into space and slowly started orbiting around our planet. Through time, the rock solidified and formed our moon. In the lunar rock samples which were collected by the Apollo astronauts, new information has been provided about the ancient history of the moon. Later, in these satellite observations, it was found that the volcanic rocks were prominent on the near side of the moon. A new model created by the researchers of the University of Arizona has explained why this is the case. When the moon was first formed, it was most likely covered by a global magma ocean. Once the molten rock cooled, it formed the mantle and the outer crust of the moon. The computer models showed how the magma, which was under the crust, had crystallized into dense minerals, which included ilmenite and contained titanium and iron. Because these heavy minerals are denser than the mantle underneath, it creates a gravitational instability, and you would expect this layer to sink deeper into the moon's interior, explained Weigang Liang, who headed the research as part of his doctoral work at LPL. Later, the dense material sank in the interior of the moon and melted and mixed with the mantle. Eventually, it came back to the surface through the titanium-rich lava, which flows visibly on the surface. The scientists, in their research, found that the gravity field of the moon can be used to map the distribution of remnants of ilmenite, which were formed after the dense materials sank in the lunar mantle. The observations made by NASA's Gravity Recovery and Interior Laboratory lunar satellite were used by the scientists. Our analyses show that the models and data are telling one remarkably consistent story. Ilmenite materials migrated to the near side and sunk into the interior in sheet-like cascades, leaving behind a vestige that causes anomalies in the moon's gravity field, as seen by Grail, Liang said. On the basis of their research, the scientists have estimated that the ilmenite-rich layer may have sunk more than 4.22 billion years ago. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. Stay connected for more exciting discussions and updates in our next podcast.